So, I wanted to read this chapter the other day. It goes with the Alta Vendita a little bit. It is about the Freemasons' designs against modesty and against the Catholic Church about almost 200 years ago, but much evidence that they continued over the years and have obviously succeeded. In order to destroy Catholicism, it is necessary to commence by suppressing woman, but since we cannot suppress her, let us corrupt her. Religion does not fear the dagger's point, but it can vanish under corruption. Let us not grow tired of corruption. We may use a pretext such as sport, hygiene, health resorts. It is necessary to corrupt that our boys and girls practice nudism in dress. To avoid too much reaction, one would have to progress in a methodical manner. First, undress up to the elbow, then to the knees, then the arms and legs completely uncovered. Later, the upper parts of the chest, the shoulders, etc. Freemasonry, 1928. Wow, that's only 90 years ago. Come on, phone. When you look around at society today, you can't help but notice the disintegration in morals and values. And we know things don't just happen by accident. So it would not... So it would not be reasonable to think that clothing styles went down the tube this far and this fast just by chance. Most of us have heard that Satan's biggest deception is convincing people that he doesn't exist. He has been extremely busy, especially since the 1800s, working behind the scenes to oppose all that is beautiful, sacred, and holy. One of the human groups he has used for this opposition has been Freemasonry. But how and why do the Freemasons begin their assault on women and fashions? In order to understand that, we have to dig back in history a bit. Stick with this chapter. In the late 1700s, Catholics found themselves fighting off the heresies of Jansenism, Quietism, and Gallicanism. Jansenists held, among other errors, that it was impossible to keep some of God's commandments. Jansenism spread an atmosphere of harshness in matters of spirituality. Quietists held that the soul should be totally passive under the action of God and should not even make efforts to resist temptations. Gallicanists resisted papal authority in various ways. When the French Revolution broke out in 1789 in France, priests and nuns were executed, churches and convents were closed. For a while, it was even a crime to attend Mass. Catholicism in France was replaced by the rule of reason, fostered by the Illuminati and Freemasonry, which rapidly spread throughout the Western world. Nearly all of the countries of that area violated and blocked the rights of the Catholic Church in some way. It's ridiculous. The devil's plan was succeeding beautifully. The Illuminati, a secret society within the Masonic lodges, of course rejected Catholic teaching and divine revelation. New members of the Illuminati were taught rationalism, to believe only humanly discovered facts about life, human nature, and the observable world. If they couldn't understand it through known science, they didn't believe it. Those involved in the Illuminati were taught bitter anti-Catholicism. The encyclopedia became the Bible of the Enlightenment. Freemasonry provided the rituals and hierarchy, and the Catholic Church being the enemy. In 1738, Pope Clement the 12th issued his papal bull In Eminenti, condemning Freemasonry and giving many reasons, including Freemasonry's oath of secrecy and of fidelity to Masonry. He severely forbade Catholics to join Masonic societies, threatening an excommunication against those who would even favor these societies. In 1825, Pope Leo XII lamented the fact that governments had not paid attention to papal decrees against Masonry, and that thus Masonry has spawned even more dangerous sects. Pope Pius VIII wrote about the Masons in his encyclical Traditi, 1829. Their law is untruth. Their God is the devil, and their cult is turpitude. Pope Gregory XVI wrote in Morari-Vos, 1832, evil comes out of secret societies, bottomless abyss of misery, whose conspiring societies have dug, and in which heresies and sects have, as many be said, vomited as in a privy all they hold of licentiousness, sacrilege, and blasphemy. Later, in Humanum Genus, 1884, Pope Leo XIII would state that some Freemasons have plainly determined and proposed that, artfully, and of set purpose, the multitude should be satiated with a boundless license of vice, as when this had been done, it would easily come under their power and authority for any acts of daring. In fact, the Catholic Church has been so adamant in its stand against Freemasonry that Canon 1374 of the New Code of Canon Law in 1983 stipulates, one who joins an association which plots against the Church is to be punished with a just penalty. One who promotes or moderates such an association, however, is to be punished with an interdict. It's probably even harsher before that. The Vatican then reaffirmed that the faithful who belong to Masonic associations are in a state of grave sin and may not receive Holy Communion. But let's get back to the early 1800s. The Illuminated Masons were very outspoken in their desire to destroy the Catholic Church. Their goal was to destroy Christianity, but they admitted that it couldn't be ruined from the outside. They had to make a two-pronged attack. Not to mention the papacy, but also modesty, apparently. The founder of the Illuminati, Adam Weishaupt, had formulated one part of the strategy late in the 1700s. We will infiltrate that place, the Vatican, and once inside, we will never come out. We will bore from within until nothing remains but an empty shell. Wow. The Masons aimed to infiltrate the sacristies, the seminaries, and the monasteries. But it would take time for the Masons to get into Catholic institutions, so they had another plan. It had to do with women. In order to destroy Catholicism, it is necessary to commence by suppressing women. Let us corrupt her. Freemasons apparently understood that women are the moral compasses of... I don't really know if I agree with that one, but the serpent knew this and approached Eve. Who knows? I don't know. Even Confucius said that woman is the moral root of society. I thought they just attacked women because women were the ones homeschooling the kiddos, and the culture will only grow in proportion to the moral strength of its women. Just as the Freemasons wanted to infiltrate the religious orders, they also planned to infiltrate the fashion world. They planned to influence women's and children's fashion trends, sickening, and styles by getting their own people involved in the fashion industry. It was also the Illuminati's plan to form and control public opinion throughout the media. Around this time, St. John Bosco, who lived in Turin, Italy, was also fighting various worldly forces. The saint received many visions in the form of dreams. The main thread of nearly all those dreams was the importance of maintaining innocence and purity. The Catholic Church has always taught that all acts of impurity are grave sins, all of them. Every impure thought or impure deed is a mortal sin, as long as a person realizes it is a grave matter and does it anyway. The unfortunate reality is that today these grave sins are sugar-coated and now encouraged as innocent and even healthy, fantasizing. Just imagine what St. John Bosco would think if he could flip on a television today or walk into a shopping mall during warm weather. Blessed Pope Pius the IX, 1846 to 78, was the visible head of the Catholic Church during this time, and he spent most of his pontificate protecting Catholics by fighting numerous heresies. In his encyclical Quanta Cura in 1864, he condemned 16 popular but erroneous ideas. Along with this encyclical, he issued his famous Syllabus Errorum, the Syllabus of Errors, 64, which was a list of 80 condemned religious errors. The syllabus created tremendous waves when published and has been outraging liberals and modernists ever since. After condemning Freemasonry numerous times in several writings, Blessed Pius IX died in 1878 after serving 34 years, the longest pontificate in church history. Wow. Pope Leo XIII was unelected. 6 years into his pontificate, on October 13, 1884, exactly 33 years to the day before the great miracle of the sun would take place in Fatima, on October 13, 1917, Pope Leo XIII had an amazing vision. If anyone still doubts that Satan is working overtime to snatch souls from God, the vision of Pope Leo XIII should remove any uncertainty about the seriousness of our situation. After offering Mass at the Vatican on October 13, 1884, Pope Leo XIII suffered some sort of collapse and seemed unconscious for a brief period. When he came to, he exclaimed to those around him, "What a horrible picture I was permitted to see." The Pope explained that he had seen the destruction to be worked by Satan in the coming years, approximately the period of the 20th century. Another version of this account states that Pope Leo heard a conversation between our Lord and Satan, which went like this. Satan boasted, "I can destroy your church if granted a certain period of time." Our Lord replied, "How long?" And Satan responded, 75 to 100 years. Our Lord then agreed to let Satan have this period of greater freedom. As a result of this vision, Pope Leo XIII prescribed the prayers to St. Michael. The prayer to St. Michael the Archangel to be prayed by priests and people at the end of every low mass throughout the world. This world. I'm going to make it part 2. God bless.